Hey Aquarius, I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to my subscribers. Welcome to those who are new to my channel. This is going to be a general reading for the first 2 weeks of June for Aquarius Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And we're going to be taking a little bit of a different approach. And I just want to give you guys a heads up. I'm going to be front loading it with a lot of astrology, but I am going to be time stamping if you guys are not interested. Crowning energy is Taurus. I have. Very good. Okay, I'm going to be pulling a Celtic cross spread. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about the eclipses just because it's really hitting a lot of people. It's hitting all of us, especially the cardinal signs, but it's hitting all of us. And even though it doesn't start until July 2nd, we're all feeling a kind of like the whispers of it in like from mid-May on. So I just think it's important that we understand where these are hitting us. But for those of you who don't want to listen to that, no offense taken whatsoever. So please just check out in the description box. I do timestamp when the actual reading starts, okay? Because I know some of you guys love the added astrology, and some of you guys are like, shut the hell up and just get to the reading, you know? So I'm trying to really address everybody. These lights are like in the way here. Oh my gosh, I'm loving what I see already, Aquarius. Loving what I see. Okay, but before we get into this, let's talk about what's going on with this eclipse season, just because it is important. And again, for the fourth time, I think I'm saying I will timestamp if you don't want to listen. But just breaking this down simplistically for you guys on a very practical level, when it comes to eclipses, we need to think about them as a story that takes around 2 years to unfold. And there are two types of eclipses, the solar and lunar. Okay, so the solar eclipse occurs when the new moon phase, when the sun and the moon are positioned at the exact same degree within the same sign. So what's important to know here is that the moon passes between the sun and the earth, temporarily blocking the sun. So there's a shadow element to it. And then the lunar eclipse corresponds with the full moon phase. So during this time, the moon emanates the earth's shadow. So again, we have these shadowy elements, right? Things kind of shifting underneath the surface. So the eclipses happen between 3 and 7 times a year, and they usually happen in clusters. And I know that's a weird span, like 3 to 7, like what's that about? But it depends on the years that we're talking about. Okay, but what's important for us to understand here is that this eclipse story that we're in right now started on July 13th of 2018. And it's going to continue through 2020, lighting up the Cancer Capricorn axis. So this eclipse continues this summer with a solar eclipse in Cancer on July 2nd and a partial lunar eclipse in Capricorn on July 16th into 17th. Okay, and the final eclipse, like the final ending to this story on this axis, is going to happen on July 5th into 6th of 2020 next year. And that's going to happen at 13 degrees Capricorn, wrapping up this 2-year story. So astrologically speaking, eclipses speed up time in a way. They open new doors by slamming others shut. So we often find very abrupt and sudden shifts that are happening during this energy. So if you've been dragging your feet in a certain area, you have to know that you're going to be getting that shove that you need, that final shove, to take action. So while the results of this can be pretty, shocking, not going to lie, they just expedite the inevitable. So these events are going to happen eventually anyway. And just remember that endings are hard, but everything is cyclical. And a culmination always occurs on the edge of a beginning. So pay close attention to what's happening in your life at this time, especially after I go through the areas that it's going to be focusing on for Aquarius, because there are going to be major pivots in your life over this 2-year period, and I'm sure many of you are feeling it already. But to illustrate, let's just check out and discuss for a second the past 2 Cancer Capricorn eclipses. So I want you to think back to 2000 to 2002, and then 2009 to 2011. Okay, I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm not making this about me, but I think sometimes examples are helpful. So, and just keep in mind that a lot of times the gift comes in, the positive comes in before something is eclipsed out. Okay, as was the case with me back in 2000. I gave birth to my twin boys in 2000. Huge gift for me. Children are a gift for all parents, of course. But I did not think I could have children. I was told I could not have them. And very serendipitously, I met this IVF specialist who worked out of NYU Medical Center through my business. It was really weird how I met her. But anyway, she ended up being a very big part of my life, and I ended up having my kids in 2000. 18 months later, my mom passed away, who I was very close with. So that was a huge loss for me. So I have this big gift in my heart sector and this big loss in my heart sector. Fast forward to 2009 and 2010, I decided to divorce my husband at the time. I was not feeling like things were going in a healthy direction, and I made that decision. At the same time, though, I completely rebuilt myself. I had been involved in the health industry and wellness industry for years. I owned a gym in Manhattan for 10 years. I had been a licensed massage therapist for years, personal trainer, aerobic instructor, very entrenched in that industry. And I just completely flipped the script. And I had advanced my education earlier, but then I went even further and I transferred into working full-time in higher education. So it was a completely different animal, you know. So that's just an example when you think about how things may have affected your life. Just thinking about what I'm explaining to you. Now, as far as my placements go, I am a Gemini sun, but I do have a lot of Cancer in my placements. I have a Cancer rising, I'm Cancer Venus. I have a lot of Cancer Mercury. So I do have a lot of Cancer in me. Even though it's not my sun sign, it did impact me like that. So let's think about how this might be affecting you. Now, you guys are not a cardinal sign. The cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. They're going to be impacted the most. So if you guys have those placements in your chart, you just maybe want to like listen to the information on those videos. But Aquarius is going to be experiencing new starts in areas of children, creative projects, love and romance, health and work, but with some surprise endings in friendships, groups, and your belief system. So let's talk about where more specifically. And what I mean by that is the archetype of all signs. And because we're talking about you, let's just talk about Aquarius. There are 3 levels of placement within the Aquarius archetype. There's early degree, middle degree, and late degree. It really does depend when you were born. So for those of you who are January born or 0 to 9 degrees, you're considered an early placement. For those of you considered from February 1st to the 10th, you're considered a middle degree. Okay, so it's 10 to 19 degrees. And then the late degree is February 11th and on at 20 or 29 degrees. Some of you know degrees, which is why I throw that in there. So we're going to be having this Cancer solar eclipse at 10 degrees and 24 degree Capricorn lunar eclipse. Okay. So let's just think about there being this kind of funneling of energy between the polarities, okay? There are going to be this polarity. So for the early degree, for those of you who are early, you're going to be having a focus, the greatest focus on your 6th and 12th house polarities. So the 6th house is that of health. This also represents new work. Your health in general, mental and physical, your routines, pets, new awareness between the body-mind and body-mind connection, and healing self, okay? So we have that, and then the polarity to that is the 12th house, which is the house of self-undoing. So this is all about bringing chaos to order. It can indicate emotional breakdowns of mental faculties, and an old belief system getting in the way, and a time where you're going to realize your belief system needs some revamping, where old beliefs are outdated, and they're going to be replaced with healthier beliefs and a healthier mindset. So just so you understand how the polarity works, like something will happen in the 12th house that promotes these new beginnings in the 6th house. Okay, so you might have some sort of breakdown in your health with that 12th house, but the 6th house opposing energy is going to really support you making big changes in that area. Now for the middle degree, it's the same as far as the 6th and 12th house, but add to that the 5th house, which is pleasure and children. This indicates new love coming in or past relationships coming back in a new way. And it also indicates very successful new creative projects. In addition, that polarity is going to be working with the 11th house of friendships and groups. And that's what society says and how others impact you and what others say, how that has an impact on you. So for many of you, this is going to be the ending of friendships, or for many of you, the endings of a job. And that's how this polarity works, okay, between the two of them. But the middle is going to have it between those 4 houses. You're going to have those 2 polarities. And then the late degree, you're going to have the greatest influence on your 5th and 11th most strongly, with a light echo of the 6th and the 12th. You know, the 6th and the 12th are just not highlighted as strongly. Okay, so you guys are going to be dealing more with this idea of pleasure and children and relationships, and then friendships and groups. Okay, in the late is where your greatest impact is going to be. But I'm going to be getting into this more in like the middle of June as we approach the actual eclipses. But keep in mind that this story is unfolding over a 2-year period. So it's not like it happens on July 2nd. You guys should be realizing changes in these areas over time, okay? So let's get into the reading, okay? So we have your crowning energy is Taurus, which is I have, which tells me that you're about to grow, really just grow. Something from which there's just going to be so much beauty and abundance. So Taurus, this energy, the Taurus native energy, is ruled by Venus, which is the planet of love and romance and indulgence, okay? Taurus energy is very down to earth and has a special eye for like anything that's attractive, always has a need for luxury, right? Just really enjoying things that are luxurious. But Taurus is also a very practical energy, taking care of the home and all the comforts before they move on towards what they truly love, which is just thinking about the meaning of life. That's a very Taurian energy. So in this way, this energy can be very dreamy and very hopeful. Okay, this energy symbolizes a very sensuous nature, right? So sex or food and comfort. This strongly indicates a very passionate person coming into your life, very healthy and vibrant sex life can be had during this energy for sure. And a lot of you are going to be connecting with someone who really wants to take care of you, or vice versa. You know, which is beautiful. There's a desire here for comfort and relaxation that's going to be a part of this relationship. So this energy corresponds to the Hierophant card in Tarot. So this indicates tradition and not so much of like brash activities or doing anything that's controversial or overly eccentric, you know. But at the same time, this can be a stubborn energy where you can be dealing with a very obstinate individual, or you may be very stubborn and obstinate at this time. But whatever is going on here, there's a very practical and conservative vibe to it. And this is always positive when it shows up because it's a very highly stable and supportive energy in general. There's a reliability about it, a way of being very easygoing. And this energy also indicates you being in a space of where you're very hard to anger, but if somebody does anger you, you're going to really lose your shit. And it's going to really be a very memorable experience for whoever pushed your buttons in that way. Okay, so moving into the Celtic cross spread, we have this first energy, which is awesome, which is the Empress. And the Empress is just indicating the space that you're in right now, which is all about abundance and material comfort and security and emotional support. This is a great energy for children and families, indicating harmony at home. And for those of you who are hoping to start a family, the energy supports that in a big way. This is also a great time for finances. Many of you are going to be doing very well. But all of you, I'm feeling all of you are going to be in a space of feeling like your needs are being met. So whatever that means for you. Now, for those of you who are single, this does indicate a great time to begin a relationship. And for those of you in relationships, you're going to be experiencing a very harmonious and beautiful time period. So that's great. This is also a really good energy for home renovations and extensions or home improvements of any kind. For those of you who have homes, but you definitely a good money vibe here for sure is what I'm getting in your space. And then the energy crossing you is we have the Page of Wands, which is an earth of fire. And this indicates good news about projects and any situation that requires negotiation. It's going to be a busy time for you in the area of communication. There's going to be a lot of information coming in, but it's going to be stuff that you can trust. You can trust what you're hearing right now. So for many of you, this can be a job offer. And even though the job offer might not be like a status as high as you maybe initially thought when you applied for the job, the overall package is going to come off as very appealing to you in some way. But just for those of you who this is resonating with, remember that we have Mercury retrograde coming up, and we're going to be dealing with the shadow come like mid-June. So if you're experiencing something new coming in at that point and you need to sign a contract, it's ridiculous to say stop life because Mercury's retrograde. Because, everybody says don't sign contract. That's silly because Mercury is retrograde half the flipping year. So we can't just stop life. Just make sure you're reading the fine print on everything. That's it. And if you could possibly wait until the middle of August until Mercury's out of shadow, awesome. But, you can't, don't tell a new job, okay, listen, hold on for 6 weeks until Mercury's out of retrograde. You can't do that. So, and now let's talk about what's the best to be achieved in this position. We have Temperance, which has the numerology link to the Hierophant. And this is a Sag energy, Sagittarius. So this indicates that you're dealing in this space with a potentially volatile situation where you're going to feel the need to temper your thoughts and actions to find balance and harmony in something. So this is going to mean you choosing not one or the other, but temperance is all about the blending of opposing ideas, where you're not agreeing with someone. This is about you sitting down to create a new solution to something in your life, but where you're blending ideas, even ideas that maybe you don't totally agree with, okay? But this energy asks you to not resist, but to accept both sides of a situation and be guided by what feels most natural to you. This is an energy to reconcile any area of your life that you feel is like off balance or off kilter. And there's a strong energy here to connect with your guides, guys, your guides and your angels. And many of you are going to be feeling and experiencing these signs in your life right now that the loved ones, any loved ones in your life who have crossed over, you're going to be feeling them very heavy during this time. And a lot of you, you're going to be getting very serendipitous advice that can come from a friend or even a stranger. That's going to be very important in your life. And for relationships, this indicates a new level of trust. And for those of you who are single, you're going to be very much guided towards a new partner during this time, where it might even be someone that you normally wouldn't go for, but you're going to be prompted towards this person. Yeah, that's good stuff. And this is a really good time to pay attention to your money, just the money that's coming in and going out, just about being mindful, okay? And then we have the foundational energies, the Nine of Wands, which is a fire energy. It's Moon in Sagittarius. And this indicates you being in a very strong position in your life. You've had a long and hard trip to get to where you are. Is feeling a lot of you have endured some heavy challenges, particularly in work. So, and being constantly vigilant and ingenious can be very tiring, right? So use your energy wisely during this time. Plan your activities really carefully and try not to exert yourself. It's okay to say no if you need to certain things that aren't totally necessary. You're definitely going to have all the resources you need at this time. Now, for others of you, this energy also does indicate you possibly being in a space where you need to defend yourself. It meant some of you feeling this fear of rejection or criticism in some way, where someone in your life might be giving you a bit of a hard time right now. But I'm not that worried about it because it's a minor arcana. This is a passing energy. So you know what? Honestly, this energy does just remember, it's your path that you're walking on. Haters are never going to believe you, and the people who really love you are never going to question you, right? So just, keep on keeping on with this energy, okay? And if you have that little snafu, don't give it more energy than it requires in the moment, okay? And then in your past energy, we have the Knight of Cups, which is Aquarius and Pisces energy. And as an influence, this indicates that you were in a very emotional time where many of you were just really loving a new romance, or it could be one that was completely new, or just experiencing a really great time period with an existing partner. Now, for those of you not involved in any relationship, this can indicate that you've been very busy by things that you truly enjoy, that capture your imagination, that you just really love doing with your time, some sort of hobby or any sort of pastime, just and really enjoying your friends and some new experiences. And because we do have 2 nights in the spread, that highlights the idea of friendship, which is really great, okay? And then in your near future position, we have the Eight of Wands, which is a Mercury and Sagittarius energy. And this is one of the most positive cards of this suit. This is bringing a lot of communication. So a lot of you are going to be inundated with phone calls and text messages and emails and really great offers, okay? If you've been feeling held back or stuck in a place where you're just waiting for things to move forward, maybe waiting on a decision, you're going to have a lot of a significant piece of positive news coming in. And once this comes in, things are going to move forward for you very, very swiftly. So just be prepared for the shift, because this is like a fast and frantic type of events coming in that are going to energize you, but it's also going to require you to prioritize any offers coming in. Again, this is another energy that supports. You don't have to say yes to everything, so choose wisely during this time, okay? And in relationships, this energy can bring news about love, particularly for those of you who have been separated from a partner or have been waiting to hear from a potential partner. So good news for those of you who are looking to get back with someone. This entire spread does support this for sure. Okay, and then we have in the energy representing you, we have the Seven of Pentacles reverse, which is an earth energy, Saturn and Taurus, which tells me that you are very, very set on a goal right now, and you're very close to achieving it. But you want to keep in mind that now is not the time to stop and reflect. This is an energy of doing and not philosophizing or overthinking anything that keeps you, that's going to divert your focus. Because the challenge here is in keeping your focus, which is the reversal, right? Yeah, I'm getting that a lot of you might be in a space of feeling frustrated because you don't have enough money left over for the little luxuries that you like that make it all seem worthwhile. But don't focus on that right now, because you really are going in a great direction and there's so much good stuff going. And this is a minor arcana. It's not going to last. Believe me, whatever frustration or exhaustion you're feeling right now, it's not going to last. It's not, okay? Okay, and then for your external influence, we have the Ten of Swords reverse, which is a Mercury and Virgo energy. And this tells me that something in your life has passed its expiration date. It's finally culminated into an ending that is something that has evolved over time. So while the ending of this situation might be jarring in the moment, it's not entirely shocking to you, because there is this evolution of the inevitable here. Keeping in mind we are in the eclipse season, so this makes sense to me. But this ending is going to clear the way for new possibilities. And you may find that the finality of this is going to leave you feeling so much less frustrated and stressed out in your life. But I'm getting like a level that you guys haven't even realized you are actually feeling. Because, you know, when you get very entrenched in a stressful situation, it almost becomes your new normal. And once this thing is eclipsed away, you're gonna really resonate with how stressful it was in your life, you know. But the reversal of this energy tells me that you're gonna be in a space of examining your past actions, where you either feel very guilty or angry, where you're reacting more deeply to a fallout, but really try not to hold on to that stress and rather just accept the situation to let it go. So I'm getting that many of you feel very helpless in this particular area of your life where this is impacting. So for some of you, I'm getting like, especially if you've been sick in some way or overwhelmed emotionally, but very soon you're going to be able to pick yourself up and move out of this space, because that is exactly what this energy supports. And then in your hopes and fears, we have the Knight of Pentacles, okay? So this energy shows financial growth and good investments, okay? This isn't your hopes and fears. So you're hoping for financial growth and good investments and successful plans concerning property and progress. And this indicates that by strategizing and setting realistic goals, you're gonna succeed. Okay, so you're hoping for it. That's all you need to do is just strategize and be realistic. Okay, so that's the hope. That's the good part. But your fear is, I'm getting that you're concerned over being able to pay attention and to address the practical details of whatever's required. And I'm getting you feel like this because working towards your goal, for lack of a better term, is kind of boring, and you're gonna have to work really hard to make things happen for yourself right now. And this is just something you have to do, Aquarius. It's just something you have to do. This is about you investing your time wisely and being consistent, and you're not going to have anything to worry about. Do not hold on to an old way of thinking or an old way of living so tightly that you're not willing to put the work in to move forward, because I am getting that for some of you. Be consistent, though. Be consistent. Yeah. Don't get lazy with anything. Not that Aquarians are lazy with anything, but don't get lazy with anything. But then look in your final outcome. Gorgeous. We have the Queen of Cups. Okay, final outcome. Love it. This is Gemini and Cancer association, and this is beautiful. This indicates strong intuition, just kind of really knowing the answers, feeling nurtured, being nurtured, being nurturing, rather. There being a compassion in your life. And really important here, which I love, is how this energy indicates high emotional intelligence, which is so important. It really is. Not only you having a high emotional intelligence at this point, really understanding, finally getting to a space of really being able to identify healthy relationships. And that's all kinds of relationships. And you dealing with people who have an equally high EQ. Right? So that's great. This indicates having a partner who's not afraid of intimacy while having stability and appropriate boundaries. Now, for those of you not dealing with any relationship, this indicates a time of you being really loving and giving as you make the world a better place for those in your life. And they're going to be doing the same for you. So it's a very emotional, loving time period now, which is beautiful because it's going into that the Cancerian season, right? Which is all about just love, emotions, and all of that. And this first 2 weeks is still really very entrenched in this new moon energy of Gemini, where we're really going to be tapping into our thoughts and our intuition, and it's just going to be bringing you guys to a great place. So I really love this reading for you, Aquarius. I think it's entirely positive, and this is really good stuff. Really good stuff. So I hope you guys have a great first 2 weeks of June, and I'll see you for the end of June reads. You guys take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.